So if there is a backwards law, what happened to the forward law? For most of you, when you first learned about the backwards law, it probably was a huge relief to you because it really explains that strange phenomenon that we experience when we want something, and just the realization that we want something, we seem to push it further away from ourselves, or we create a situation where we experience the opposite. This strange thing of wanting something or trying to do something or trying to achieve something, and not only not achieving it, but moving in the opposite direction, going backwards. So in other words, it's like the harder you try to achieve something, or the harder you try to attain something, the further and further you push it away, or the more you destroy any possibility of you getting it. Now, before I go deeper into this, if you find yourself liking this video, make sure you give it a thumbs up. And if you haven't already, make sure you hit that subscribe button and the bell so you'll be notified when I put new videos out. And I always give away something for free in my videos. And if you're impatient and you want to know what that is right now, rather than waiting to the end of this video for me to explain it, you can go to the description right here down below. You will see a link. Click that link and you will get access to it. It's the moment you focus on something that it suddenly has the feeling of it disappearing, or you feeling a sense of lack around it. And so why is that? Well, because usually what you want, when you become aware of it, you immediately project it to it being outside of you. So I want happiness. Well, if I want happiness, that means I'm not experiencing it now. So my attention is brought to the fact that I don't have it right now. So now I feel like I'm in lack. And then it seems like this external pursuit. Well, I must go and get it. And how am I going to go about that? And so when you pursue something, and I'm only using happiness as an example, it could be anything. As you pursue something and you're pursuing it from a feeling of lack, when you're constantly reminded of not having it. And that gives it a feeling of not only not having it, but also of pushing it further and further away. So you're projecting it. It's sort of like walking toward the horizon. And as you walk toward it, it continues to move away at the same rate that you're walking toward it. Well, why? Well, because that's what a horizon does. It's more an illusion. You're seeing where it appears that the sky meets the land, but the sky never meets the land. It's only an illusion. So what am I getting at here? Well, it's really only an illusion that you don't already have what it is that you want. Now, with something like money, you might say, well, no, that's a reality. I know I don't have the money that I want to have, but what is that? What does the money represent to you? What does having that money, what is it going to do for you? So really what you're in pursuit of the state that having that money you believe will give to you. And maybe that's a sense of freedom. That's really common, or a sense of security. So either one of those would work fine. When you suddenly realize that and you go, oh, I must achieve that money. I must have that money in order for me to feel secure, or I must have that in order for me to feel free. Then what you're doing is you're negating the sense of security you already have. You're negating the sense of freedom that you already have, and you're projecting it out there. And not only that, you're projecting it onto an object, and the achievement of that object, or the acquiring of that object, will then somehow enable you to experience the freedom or the security that you wanted. This is just an illusion. It's not true. And it's almost as if there's something built into you that knows that, and is sort of trying to call your attention to it, which is that obvious feeling of lack as soon as you project it outside of you, as soon as you turn away from the fact of what is already here within you. It's like that alarm system goes off. But unfortunately, we don't read that as an alarm to say, hey, wait a minute, get back into right now, get back into this moment. What do you have right now? Now, that does not mean that you should not pursue money. It does not mean that you should not pursue the things that you want. It's just pursue them from a place of already having what you truly need. And you do have all of those things. There is no amount of acquiring material possessions or even achievements that can truly give you anything you don't really already have right now. So I want to back up a little bit and make another point here. There is nothing in this world that has inherent value. There is no object or accomplishment that has inherent value. What do I mean? If I want a new car, does that car have inherent value? No, it doesn't, because I might want the new car, but somebody else, they might They couldn't care less. Like they're not interested in a car or a house or, a certain amount of money. Because there is no inherent value, it's subjective. Each person may or may not want something, and to varying degrees. But if objects had inherent value, then everyone would want everything, want all the same stuff and to the same degree. And that's just not true. We know that. And money is no different. A $100 bill, you put that $100 bill in front of a multi-billionaire, a homeless person, and someone of the middle class. Even though the number of the value is printed on the $100 bill, that $100 bill has varying value for each one of those people. So nothing has inherent value, only the value that you project onto it. And the same goes for experiences and accomplishments, whatever. If nothing has inherent value and it only has the value that you're projecting onto it, what does that mean? Where is that projection coming from? It's coming from you. And you could not project that value onto that object or even to the idea of accomplishing something that hasn't happened yet if you didn't have it within yourself. If you didn't have it within yourself, you couldn't project it. So when you're projecting value, understand that that's coming from within yourself, that you already have it right here. Now think about it. If every time you wanted something and you understood that you were projecting a value, and not only that, you could identify what the value is, like for money, it might be freedom, it might be security. And then you stop and you say, okay, well, let me check in with myself. Let me get quiet with myself. Let me stop projecting out there and let me check within. Do I already have security? Yeah, you do. I mean, you're not in any danger at this very moment. So you do have a sense of security. Maybe you want more of it. That's okay. It's okay to say that. Do you have freedom? Yeah, most of us do. And even if we live in a totalitarian government, we still have a sense of freedom from within. One of my biggest heroes, somebody who I think about a lot when it comes to this type of thing, Viktor Frankl, Man's Search for Meaning, put in a concentration camp. And he said to himself, the Nazi guards will not take away my freedom. They can take away my external freedom. They can't take away my internal freedom. They can't take away my sense of well-being. That's mine. I control that. That is so, so powerful and amazing that in such extreme conditions, he was able to do that. So if he was able to do that, you can do that as well. Now, it's not always the easiest thing, but think about this. Now, again, this doesn't mean that I don't think that you should go for your ambitions. If you have big goals and they include things like money and a new car and a new house, and whatever accomplishments you want, no, I want you to go for those things. Absolutely. But the backwards law will state that if you're going at it as if you need to have those things in order to experience fulfillment, that you need to have those things in order to experience the values that you're projecting onto these things, it's going to backfire. You're not going to feel the way that you want to feel in the pursuit of those things. And because of that, you're likely to push those things away from you rather than achieve them. Now, sometimes people do achieve things, even though when they sort of work against themselves, it's painful every step of the way, but they finally achieve it. But when they achieve it, it's not fulfilling at all. But if you take the time to step back and check in with yourself and find it within yourself, those values that you're projecting, and when you connect with that, and you feel that now, and you feel more whole, more complete, more fulfilled, more resourceful, how do you think it's going to be now pursuing what it is that you want when you're coming from a place of already experiencing the value that you're going after? And so instead of projecting it outside of yourself and trying to chase it, you realize that it's already here and you connect with it and then you go for it. What do you think is going to happen when you do that? Well, not only are you going to achieve it much faster and much easier, you're going to be much more fulfilled in that pursuit of getting it. And that also will make it likely happen faster because you're enjoying the process rather than just putting everything and depending on your well-being on some later time when you hope to accomplish something. So whenever you feel unsatisfied in life, and we all do at certain times, that's because you're overlooking what's right here, what's right here, right now. You might feel that there's potential to achieve something, and you might say, well, that's my potential calling. And yes and no. You can pursue your potential and fulfill your potential while feeling satisfied and fulfilled. And so you can separate these two and realize, part of that lack of satisfaction, or the majority of that lack of satisfaction, is having to do with you overlooking what's already here, what you already have inside you. Another aspect of it is not allowing for imperfection, not accepting imperfection, not accepting that there are some things that are, not perfect in your life. When we're not willing to accept that, when we become perfectionists, this is one way that we will keep what it is that we want from us as well. Another way of explaining this would be resistance. We resist the things that we don't like or that we don't want. This is going to hold you back. This is going to keep that sense of satisfaction from you, which then you might start projecting again and then start chasing again. The whole cycle starts in on itself. So we don't want to resist, and we don't want to resist resistance. That's the other thing that will happen too, is there will be parts of you that might have a problem with a certain pursuit. And we call this a conflict integration or a parts integration in NLP. And so it's not about trying to overcome that resistance and bulldoze it and try to push it away. That's going to work against you. All parts of you are valid, so you welcome that resistance. Don't resist resistance, and learn to flow with it. Learn to connect with whatever the value is of that resistance, and then move forward with that. Again, from a satisfied, fulfilled, whole, complete person, rather than someone who's lacking in something. Some other emotions that will block us from accessing these values within ourselves and these resources within ourselves is things like frustration, anger, resentment. What these things do is they create a sort of a hyper focus, and they narrow your focus so much that it does sort of cut out these values and these resources. It cuts out their accessibility. Fear is another one. So if you're indulging in a lot of fearful thinking, a lot of times, again, it just shrinks that focus of attention to the point where you're not accessing these values and these resources within yourself. So are you experiencing anger and frustration and resentment? If you're pursuing something, if you're chasing something, and you're fully locked into the backwards law in the sense that the more you're trying to pursue something, the more it seems to elude you, then chances are you are becoming frustrated, you are becoming resentful, and you're pulling away from that. And so again, that's only sinking you deeper. So if that's happening, just relax, breathe, and get back to that state of recognizing that you already have the values that you're pursuing right now. Can they be enhanced and can you have greater fulfillment around that? Yeah, absolutely. That's why you should go after the things that you have a natural inclination to go after. But by first understanding and connecting with those values and resources now within you makes all the difference. If you'd like to take this deeper, I have a video series that goes into much more depth about everything that I'm talking about here, where I take you through specific exercises so that you can start really mapping this out and creating a vision for yourself. So if you'd like to get your hands on that free training, in the description right here down below, you will find a link. Click on that link and you will get access to that free training. If you like this video, make sure you give it a thumbs up. And if you haven't already, make sure you click that subscribe button and the bell so you'll be notified when I put new videos out. And last but not least, if you can think of a friend or a family member who would really benefit from this video, make sure you share it with them. Take care.